today is up and operational. I'll come to that first. And this is a small animation. This is going to tell you how we are going to deliver these services. In many parts of the country, this has already been started. In the center, we have got the state data center. We are creating a state data center in each and every union territory in the state. And these are meant to host all information, all data, and all application. Today, many of these data bases are located at the district level, tehsil level, and it is very difficult to access them from anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world. So we are getting these data centers, state data centers, and very, very modern data centers set up in every state. And I'm very happy to inform you that out of 33 data centers, 14 data centers are up and operational today, and we expect that by end of this year, all our data centers would be ready. And the entire money for all this infrastructure, including data center, is coming from the government of India. Though the implementation is with the state government, and that is being done with a purpose. Because when we started this journey of NEGP in 2006, there was a huge debate on this particular issue. Should we go in for centralized initiative and centralized implementation, or should we go in for centralized initiative and decentralized implementation? And we are very happy that we took a decision that we went in for centralized initiative and decentralized implementation. Though it's a little bit slow process, because when you ask the state governments to implement these pieces of infrastructure, then it would naturally result into certain delays, but it's going to be a sustainable model. Last year I had gone to Brussels to attend a meeting. There are 40 countries that come together, and we discussed and debated on this particular topic. And ultimately, after a huge heated debate, the consensus was it is better to go in for decentralized implementation rather than going in for a centralized implementation. Second is SWAN. We see SWAN, State-Wide Area Network. Under this, we are creating network. We are giving connectivity to each and every block. And block is an administrative unit for every about 100, 150 villages. And today, almost 90% of SWAN is up and ready. This is giving connectivity to every nook and corner of the country. And then on the left-hand side, we have got the CSC, the Common Service Center. We are setting up more than 100,000 common service centers. These common service centers are nothing but the front ends. These are telecenters. And citizens can go to the telecenter to seek information, to submit their application. They don't have to have their own computer. They don't have to come to the district headquarters. They don't have to go to the block headquarters to seek services and to get the delivery of those services. And in addition to that, all paper forms, manual forms are being converted into electrical form, and these forms are being hosted in the state data center at the state portal. So a citizen can go to the common service center, that means the front end, to seek a particular service that you see from this animation. He or she can pull in this form. That form will appear on the screen, and this form can be filled in either in offline mode or online mode, either with the help of the VLE, the village level entrepreneur, who is the operator of these telecenters, or if the service seeker is confident to make use of the computer, then he or she can fill that form himself or herself. And once that is done, after the form has been filled in, it can be submitted again through the internet. It goes to the state portal. SSG is a state service delivery gateway, which is nothing but a routing mechanism, and it routes that particular request to the concerned field office where the request has to be processed. And in the back end, the request is processed, and thereafter the service is again delivered following the same route through SWAN, through the service delivery gateway, and then it goes to the common service center where the service can be delivered. And now we are making use of mobile technology in a big way. And mobile, as I showed in my presentation, today we have got huge penetration of mobile phones, and now it is possible to seek many of these services with the help of mobile telephones, and then services can also be delivered through the mobile technology. Only this, not this, last month, on the 7th or 8th of July, the Honorable Chief Minister of Goa, he has launched few services based on mobile technology. And that initiative was again taken by the Department of Information Technology, Government of India. And then we are also paying a lot of attention to capacity building, because we can hire resources, we can hire consultants anywhere from within the country or from the work, or from outside. But unless we create capacities within the state government, within the central government, within each and every government office, it is not going to be a sustainable kind of an exercise. And that's why we are paying huge attention to the capacity building. And it's a very, very challenging task. It's not going to be achieved overnight. Government of India is hiring 300 to 400 professionals from IITs and IIMs. And after orientation, after their training, all these professionals are being deployed at the state government level. The entire funding is coming from the Government of India. But all these resources are being deployed at the state government, and these resources work as eyes and ears for the state government in the area of e-governance, because they do not know those resources, and unless we create this capacity, they are not going to achieve the objectives of e-governance. Secondly, the standards and interoperability. ICT is a very, very powerful tool, but this tool can make an impact only when we are able to access and share information from anywhere in the world. And that is possible only when we adhere to certain discipline. And that discipline comes from standards. This responsibility of evolving the standard and notifying the standards have been given to the DIT, Department of Information Technology. And in last few months, we have been able to notify a large number of standards, including metadata, data standards on names and areas. We have been able to notify standards on biometrics. We have been able to notify a policy on open standard. That means all our standards have to be in public domain. And secondly, for every specific domain, there has to be only one standard, and that too a royalty-free standard. And then finally, the third-party impact assessment. We may have done wonderfully well. We may have spent a lot of money, but we had to find out whether it is going to make, or it is really making any impact on the citizen or not. And that's why we undertake these impact assessment exercises, and this is being done by the third party like IIMs and other such institutions of repute. And then new elements. This was the main study at the time of 2006, but in last 4 or 5 years, a lot of new things are coming, and we thought that it would be a good idea to use the latest and emerging technologies. First is use of mobile technology. I already spoken about it, and we are creating a framework to make use of mobile technology. We are creating an MSDG, Mobile Service Delivery Gateway. We expect that by end of this year, we'll be able to make it operational. And then second is the common platforms based on cloud computing. In 2006, every department was trying to create its own infrastructure, and that was taking a lot of time. It is very expensive also. So now we are identifying the common processes, and these processes will be deployed on a common platform. And these common platforms are nothing but the cloud, so that the software can be developed for a particular service, and all other pieces of infrastructure and the system software will be available on a platform, on a cloud. This is what is being done. Electronic Service Delivery Gateway, we are enacting a law which will make it mandatory for all government departments and the ministries to deliver all public services in electronic form also. And this has to be done in next 5 years' time. And we expect to introduce this bill in this monsoon session. We have already done a lot of work on this. And then citizen engagement framework. When I started my presentation, I said that everybody wants to be a part of the governing process. And for that, it is necessary that whenever we start or whenever we take new initiative, we go in for citizen engagement. Today, we do not have any formal framework to have this kind of an engagement, and we are trying to make use of this framework. We are in the process of developing this framework, and this is going to make use of social media in a big way. Today, the government departments are very hesitant to use social media like blogging, Twitter, and Facebook for government operations. So we are trying to do that. And then finally, as I said, that we don't have to stop here. Our main vision is to empower each and every citizen. And that can happen only when we are able to provide quality education. Under the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, Education for All, we have been able to create beautiful infrastructure in every tehsil for imparting school education. But if you look into the quality of education, it is appalling. And India is a very young nation. It has got huge potential in terms of population dividend, demographic dividend. But we'll be able to tap that potential only when we are able to impart good quality skills and good quality knowledge. And for that, we can make use of ICT in a big way. And this is what we are trying to do. And in lot many places, good quality education is being imparted with the help of computers, with the help of common service centers, which are front end. Again, the health services. Health services are again very, very suboptimal. With the help of telemedicine, with the help of electronic health record, our vision is that each and every resident should be able to have access to good quality and cost-efficient health services without having the need to go to the block headquarter or the tehsil headquarter. Financial inclusion. Lot of CSCs, the front ends, the telecenters are today delivering banking services. For the banking institution, it is not possible to create brick and mortar institution in every village because it doesn't make commercial sense. On the other hand, with the help of ICT, the cost of transaction can be brought down from, say, 100 rupees per transaction to less than a 10 paisa per transaction. And that is happening today. In more than 200 CSCs, these banking services are being provided with the help of ICT. And then skill upgradation, employment generation, and finally we have to go in for green technology to take care of environment of our country. I'll stop here. And my only, what should I say, that my only request to all of you would be that though we are taking a little bit of time, but we are confident, we are committed that each and every resident of this country will be empowered and will be truly empowered. And it is going to be an inclusive growth, and this growth will come in only with the help of technology, and that is ICT. And we have to take e-governance to its logical conclusion, and that is empowerment and inclusive growth. Thank you very much.